basically today what we're gonna talk about is we talk a little bit about the reproductive system. We talk about, basically we're gonna be focusing more on the female part. We've already talked a little bit about the male part, and we'll go a little bit about into that. But what I'm gonna do first of all is, let's first of all go through the parts of the female reproductive system and what they do as far as when you have intercourse and you're looking to reproduce, okay? So first thing, this is the entire part of the female reproductive system. Right here you have the ovaries. You have one on each side. Who can tell me what's inside the ovary? What is the purpose of the ovary?
Eggs.
Right, that's the storage for the eggs. So we have the eggs here. What do we know about eggs?
With the egg, that is what has to be fertilized by the male sperm to create a human being.
Right, good. And does a woman have a certain number of eggs? Does she produce eggs every month? Well, how does that work?
She has a certain amount.
Right, when she's born, she has a certain amount. When she hits puberty, okay? When she hits puberty, that's when, we'll talk about that in just a second, but basically about 2 million eggs or so is what she starts out with, okay? So as we go from here, we have the ovaries are connected to the fallopian tubes, or fallopian tubes. So after the fallopian tube, we got the uterus here, and then we're coming out toward the exterior of the female there. We have the cervix here, and then the vagina on out, okay? So, let's talk about the menstrual cycle for a second. So, we said that the female has a predetermined amount of eggs when she's born. So, what she has to do, she can't keep those same amount of eggs her whole life, right? So, what she has to do is, the menstrual cycle is once a month, she gets rid of eggs, okay? So, what she's doing is eggs are released through here, they go through the fallopian tubes, come through here, and with it, the outer part of the uterus the lining of the uterus is coming out with it, okay? Because what happens is, once a month, that uterus is preparing itself for birth. Thanks for finishing my sentence. It's preparing itself for birth. So, if you're not getting pregnant, if the female's not getting pregnant, then there's no need for that preparation. So it's getting rid of all the lining for birth. All right. Now, when she is pregnant, or when she is to get pregnant, let's go back here. So here we have an egg, and here we have the sperm. And remember, there's 3 parts of the sperm. This is basically the head of the sperm. And what's included in the head of the sperm?
DNA.
Okay, the DNA, the chromosomes. How many chromosomes is coming from the male?
2, 3.
2, 3, 23.
Oh, it was 2,
23 big chromosomes, right?
You read it was 22.
It would be. Alright, so that's that part. What's the middle part right here? Looks like the neck of it. Mitochondria.
That's the powerhouse of the cell.
So that's giving
It's
it,
the power generator.
that's the powerhouse, that's giving it the energy to go where it's gotta go, right? Okay? And this is the tail, and it's for propulsion, transportation, right? So it's basically, it's coming from here, correct? So it's gotta make its way all the way up in here. So it
That's
has,
a long way.
it has to have propulsion. So now, the ovary releases the egg is in the fallopian tube, and it takes 5 to 7 days for it to travel through this tube into the uterus,
That's
okay?
very slow.
It is slow. Why is it slow?
So the sperm can fertilize the egg.
To give it more time, so you have more of an opportunity, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, this sperm's gotta make its way all the way up in here, so it has to have a tail, and it has to have a power source to get the chromosomes up there. Now, how many chromosomes are inside the egg?
23.
23, good.
23 was 23.
So we know we
26.
get 23 from the female, 23 from the male, we have a total of 46. Alright, so, once that sperm has fertilized the egg in the fallopian tube, then the lining is ready, the egg egg will continue out as fertilized and it'll attach to the lining of the uterus. Okay? Now, once it attaches to the lining of the uterus, what happens? So right now, is it single celled?
No.
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 Because an egg is a single cell, right?
An egg will go to a ball of cells.
And a sperm is a single cell, so those two come together.
So fission.
The egg will turn to a ball of cells.
Eventually, it's gonna start splitting and splitting and splitting. It's called a blastocyte, and it will continue on, split, and the cells will differentiate themselves into skin cells, into smooth muscle cells like the heart, the stomach, all the internal organs, bones, the osteocytes. So it'll differentiate and it'll grow until it's a fetus. So it's attached to the uterus. It forms the umbilical cord. So it gets its nutrients from mom. And now, of course, it takes about 36 to 40 weeks to mature, and then we have birth. Are there any questions?
So the male has to put up with everything that she goes through, right?
Lots of hormonal things going on at that point, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Good? Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to the end of that chapter, and we're going to do the assessment questions, 1 through 5. And I'll come around and help, and if you need any help, let me know, okay?
Alright, I thought we got ready to do that.